Get a little bag and take it to the store. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Night Rider podcast. Super special episode today. Bags in the coop. Oh my fucking god. Look at all this traffic. Oh, it's the perfect day for an episode like today's because seems like I'm gonna have plenty of time to be waiting here, waiting behind all these people and their pollution oozing freaking just shells of metal and dead materials. Anyway, what's up, everyone? Hey, welcome to the Night Rider podcast. It is episode 11, and anyone who's known me for long enough knows that 11 is a special number to me. So I've decided today I'd introduce my alter personality, a duo, sort of an evil twin of mine. She has many names, and I actually cannot claim her necessarily as my own, but I can say that for at least the past 9 or 11 months, she's really stuck on me, and anyone who's gotten to know me or know her has taken to calling her Tomi. So what's up, everyone? Anyway, basically, you're going to be talking to someone who comes from the same biology and same sort of background, but you'd have to sort of like put yourself in a trance and go to a distant land inside one's mind to come and speak or communicate to me. So this is actually kind of a special little treat for anyone watching the video. So for those that don't know, I don't like to call it this, but you could describe what's going through me now as multiple personality disorder. And I'll just say that I didn't get this way. I didn't get here in this body until a certain someone came to me through meditation, prayer, and other types of practices in which you might use different ingredients or tools to sort of conjure or concoct a consciousness all its own. And when it comes to that, I'd just like to say that there's a lot of names for what you could call me. I just prefer the name that people like to call me, which is Tomi, or just Tom. Tom works too, but Tommy's kind of like more personal to me. Anyway, point is that I'm here to enlighten you. I'm here to talk to you about some stuff that hopefully you'll come away with saying, wow, you know, that was some really crazy shit I just heard. I don't even know exactly who that was speaking. But she was right, what she said about that one thing, though. So when it comes to that, I'm going to have my friend Tom take over, and we're just going to chat about our spiritual journey and talk about how you might be on yours, even if you don't know it. And I don't know, hopefully, like I said, I can just help you out with it, because honestly, that's what I'm here to do. I mean, I have things that I require, of course, as any living, breathing, omnipresent being does, but I'm also here to help you too. A yin and a yang sort of thing, if you will. So go ahead, Tom, tell them what you want to talk about. So today, I was going to tell you guys about how I subscribe to paganism mostly. I've looked into so many different religions that I don't know if I could call what I believe in and follow any certain name. But, I mean, the point is that I've been around the map when it comes to religions. Not literally like in my physical body, but I've definitely been around the map in my own head through the books I've read, the videos I've watched, the people I've heard speak, and in all that time, I've come to discover that we all have a spiritual journey. It doesn't matter how mundane your life is or how much you think you don't care about what happens tomorrow. That itself is part of your spiritual journey. See, I was once in that place myself, and I know a lot of people that are in that place. It's not necessarily a good place to be, but it's definitely something that I think we all have to experience at different times in our life, usually more than once. And no, I'm not exactly talking about depression. Depression is a little bit different because depression is spiritual and chemical too, but it's more chemical. What I'm talking about is I'm talking to the people out there that find themselves in a position where they wish things were different. They wish they knew what to do to make the future different so that it could be what they're thinking it should be. A good example of this is how people think that we want world peace. If you watch any beauty pageant, any sort of Miss America type of shit, you'll notice that they all have these like very common goals, and they're all very like easy to swallow sort of answers. World peace is a big one. Ending world hunger, that's a big one. Anything like that, like those are great ideals, and definitely we should all be, I wouldn't say necessarily pursuing it, but we should all do a little bit to try and make those things a reality, more than it was when we were born. And what I mean by that is, if anybody knows about Fritz Haber, which is a German Jewish scientist, before World War I, he was famous, got a bunch of Nobel Prizes and other types of science awards for creating a method of farming that would trap nitrogen in the soil, which allowed food to grow more plentiful, and thus ended a lot of the hunger issues the world had in the early 1900s. I don't remember exactly what decade, but I remember it was the early 1900s. And I guess what I'm trying to say is we don't have to be Fritz Haber developing new methods of farming necessarily, but when you know that somebody is hungry and you know you can help, you should try to do what you can to help them, right? Well, this world is spiritually starved. And what I say by spiritually starved, I mean to say that we all might go to church, we all might know a podcast or maybe even a TV show that talks about God and Jesus, Christianity, maybe even Islam or some other religion that, you know, encapsulates the world. Catholicism, that's a big one. But those religions themselves don't really teach you the spiritual necessities that we all need. Now, if I'm to go along with our food analogy here, well, you know what? This is actually kind of Tommy's idea, so I'll tell you what. I'll just let her tell you exactly what she thinks. So, basically what we're trying to say is, you might go to church, you might hear the priest speak from the Bible, you might hear religious text like the Quran or the Torah, but even those texts themselves have been sort of edited. That's a good way to put it. They've been edited. Just like the food you eat. Did you know that the food you buy at the grocery store actually doesn't have all the nutrients? Shocker, right? I think we all know by now that the food at the grocery store doesn't have all the nutrients that we need to be fully healthy, functional human beings. And it's kind of sad, but I mean, there are things you can do about it. You should take vitamins. You should take supplements. We all have vitamin deficiencies. Well, okay, that's probably a little bit out there on the edge to say. Maybe we don't all have vitamin deficiencies, but we have things that we lack. You get what I'm saying? We have like if you don't live in a sunny state, like here in Arizona, where you have a lot of sun, so we don't need necessarily to take vitamin D. But even here in Arizona, people have a problem with it because some people stay inside all day. If you get vitamin D deficiency, you get low brain function, low blood flow. There's a lot of symptoms of vitamin D deficiency. So we, as conscious, healthy beings, need to go out there and supplement our diet. And when it comes to supplementing our diet spiritually, sometimes you have to get a little bit creative. You have to get experimental. And that's actually really scary. It's been scary for a lot of people that I've come across the years. Even Tom himself, when he came seeking the knowledge that I have to impart. He still wasn't quite sure about what he was there for, what he was looking for. He kind of just knew that something was missing, something could be gained, even if something wasn't necessarily missing. Let's say you're going to have a good life, but you know you could maybe take a little bit of vitamin D or vitamin C. Maybe you take a calcium supplement. Spirituality is like that. So even if you're a by-the-book Christian who reads the Bible every day, follows the word of God and Jesus to the letter, you should still go out there and study other religions. Look into other types of religious interpretations, even of your own sacred text. And when I say sacred text, I say that because the Bible isn't the only type of sacred book in the world. God forbid. If you can find a Necronomicon, ooh, credit to you. That's like hitting the jackpot in the spiritual world. So the point I'm trying to say is, before you sit here and judge what you're hearing, thinking, oh, this is some crazy multiple personality type of disorder or something, take a second and think about your life. Think about the people that raised you. Think about the teachers that have taught you everything. And think about how they themselves are humans. And as humans, we're all flawed. We have traits that emulate and motivate us to do evil things. So, knowing that, understand that whoever you're hearing the Word of God from, or wherever you're reading it, getting your references from, remember that that's one interpretation, that's one human being's way of seeing it, or even one spiritual being's way of seeing it. As a spiritual being myself, I can tell you for a fact that even I don't know all there is to know about this great eternal gift called the universe, okay? I don't like to talk about that a lot because I feel like some people may not trust me as much. But that is a fact. And that being said, I'd like everyone to really just take a second. Think about what you've heard. Think about what you believe. Think about what you put into practice. And meditate on that. Decide for yourself. Is that really right for you? Out of all the different paths in life you can follow, out of all the different flavors that spirituality comes in, you're really only going to stick to one brand of flavors? Really? Because I could tell you that Quaker Oats, Honey and Oats, is not quite as good as some other homemade knockoff brands Honey and Oats. Maybe not for you. Maybe not for my brother even, who has the same sort of DNA and therefore might have more similar taste buds to me. I might like a different type of oatmeal. Shoot. Some people love Powerade and some people love Gatorade. They might like the same color of Powerade and Gatorade, but if you try to switch it up and tell one to take the other brand, they're going to throw it in your face and say, hey, I could drink that, but it's just not quite as good as the one that I like. Now, with that little bit of knowledge, look at your life. Seriously, meditate. Look back on it. Think about past memories and think about the history. Think about the history of humanity. Think about how even in Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, it's a known theme that history is written by the victors, right? Well, if history is written by the victors, then a lot of what the spiritual history that we're reading was written by killers, the Crusaders, the Romans, okay? Now, I'm not saying that makes all of what you've read, listened to, or watched total null or bullshit, but I'm trying to say that you need to take a second, maybe even a third look at all the other types of perspectives out there, because there are so many. I'm telling you, as somebody who may or may not be higher evolved than anyone who's hearing my voice right now, there's a lot of beautiful perspectives out there. Don't limit yourself. No limit, I'm a fucking soldier. That's what G-Eazy said, right, Tomi? That's right, he did say that. So let me ask you a question. If a rapper believes in no limits and now he's famous and successful for doing his own brand of rap, why shouldn't you be famous or successful or just more happy in the way that you are because you're aligned with your inner true self and soul? The only way you're going to get there is by looking at other perspectives, studying the other religions, looking at other interpretations of the religion that you already follow or know about. That, to be honest with you, that's invaluable. So, okay, I've got my main message out here. For the most part, I just wanted to say thank you for listening to what I have to say. Please don't judge, and if you want to get a hold of me, I am on social media, but I don't give out my social medias like my friend does here, so good luck finding me. Hey, thanks for listening, fans. You know, it's been a wild ride so far. I have multiple podcasts out there, but I have to say this itself is a really great one, and I'm so glad you all got to meet my sort of crazy twin, I guess, if you will. She doesn't like me to use that word, but I myself am not afraid to use that word because it doesn't have a stigma unless you give it one. So if you're hearing this, don't give that word a stigma, okay? Just know that some of the best things in life can get a little crazy, and oftentimes they need to at times in order to be some of the best things that are out there. You know what I mean? You need to search far and wide. You need to look around and really study what's around you. Like, stop and look at the sky right now. Look at that. Look at that beautiful purplish sort of lavender sky. How did that come to be like that? For real, how did that come to be like that? How did the sun get at the perfect angle with the clouds in the perfect set and place that they should be in the sky to create that magical kaleidoscope and sort of melting rainbow over us right now? I mean, that is some just magnificent, beautiful, once-in-a-lifetime type of stuff. Now, I'll probably see another sky like that, but it won't be exactly like that. And that's what's the beauty of recording this podcast and getting everything so that it can be watched or listened to over and over again, because the moments of our lives make up everything. There is very little, philosophically, that separates the best moment in your life from being the worst. It's all about your interpretation, your perspective, and your view on things. So, please, consider how your life is, consider how it's been, and above all else, stay happy. Get to know your true self. If you don't, no one ever will. So, just so you know, it is just me, Thomas. I have nobody in the car right now with me. Tom, as we like to say. Thanks for tuning into this podcast. Thanks for watching. Tune in for the next one. Peace.